me down. I need the two of them to keep my feet on the solid ground. I'm sleeping into bed. I gotta make it good to keep one step ahead. I'm trapped. I'm caught up in the middle of a two-way love affair. I'm trapped. I'm caught up in the middle of a two-way love affair. Now my wife is the first woman I ever kissed. The first woman I ever made love to. Whenever I need her, she's right there by my side. And most of all, she been my guide. But late at night, when she get in that bed, she turn her back and she cover her head. That outside woman, she spread her arms and open her chest. She said, "Don't stop until you get enough. You hold on tight, you can have all this good stuff." I'm trapped. In the middle of a two-way love affair.
What y'all know about that? What y'all know about that? Y'all don't know nothing about that. Oh man, you must be busy because you drop off a couple of weeks, then you come back. Hey, it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Went up there, had my lunch. I'm feeling bionic around this thing. Had me a couple of shots on that ass for lunch. I'm about to bring me another video on y'all ass. Then I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna bust it out. That's what I'm gonna do. Come on, talk to me. All right. So, guys, what we're about to do is we're about to listen to a documentary that I saw. I talked about this shit earlier today. I was talking about this documentary. It's called Park Avenue, Money, Power, and the American Dream. And I want you guys to check it out because I want y'all to see what time it is. I want y'all to see what time it is, man. So this documentary is about this place on Park Avenue that's where the ultra wealthy live. I'm going to go through it blow by blow. Let me split my screen. I'm going to put y'all on another screen over here. I like having more than one screen. You know what I'm saying? What's up? What's up, BP? Or is it Pi? How do I pronounce it? You tell me, because I hate to sound illiterate than a motherfucker, right? Tell me what time it is. What's up, Jaleel? What's up? What's up, Martin Van Loo? What's up? What's up? All right, so let's go ahead and get into this documentary, shall we? Let's go. What we're about to do is we're about to outline some of the bullshit they feed black people. So they asked the question, they say, how much inequality is too much? I'm going to go out on a limb and say Ben Bernanke and Alan Greenspan are small hats. What y'all think?
This stretch of Park Avenue on the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
Okay, bye pie. Okay, bet. Bye pie. Bet. Thank you.
This is where the people at the top of the ladder live. The upper crust. The ultra rich. But this street is about a lot more than money. It's about political power. The rich here haven't...
Now, see, the deep thing about this documentary is they really come with some real shit. It's just they twist this shit and feed you a certain line of bullshit. Check it out. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to identify the bullshit. I have a buzzer. I'm going to go, all right?
money to buy fancy cars, private jets, and mansions. They've also used it to rig the game in their favor.
The game is rigged. You'll never be able to get a dollar, ever. You won't ever be able to run a business. You won't ever be able to leave your kids. You won't ever be able to get some life insurance. You won't ever be able to get a mortgage because the rich got their foot on your neck. Let's keep going. See the bullshit?
30 years, they've enjoyed unprecedented prosperity from a system that they increasingly control.
Okay, so let's go. Guys, I'm going to share my screen a little bit because I ain't with no bullshit, y'all. I ain't with it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't with it. So let's go right here. Let's go to market. What is this? Largest market cap companies. Let's look at the largest market cap. Well, I'll be damned. These are all tech firms. Look, the top 3 are tech. Remember that shit now. You know what I'm saying? Come on, let me see all of them. Let's see all of them. What we got? Facebook is number 6, not number 5. So 4 of the top 5 are tech firms. Y'all see that shit? Y'all must think this is a Milli Vanilli around here. I'm letting y'all know what time it is, man. Berkshire Hathaway, small hat. Small hat. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Let's keep going. Let's see what we got here. Chase that shit. That's the Illuminati. That's the damn devil worshipers. Let's see who else we got. Walmart, okay, that's the Walmart family. MasterCard, Procter & Gamble, AT&T. I would consider that a tech firm. Bank of America, Home Depot. Arthur Blank, I think he might be one. I don't know for sure. He based right here in Atlanta. Intel, tech firm. Coca-Cola, right? Let's see what we got. Verizon, I would call them tech. Of course, we got Walt Disney. You know who they are, right? See what we got. So it's a lot of tech firms up in here, man. You know what I'm saying? And these are American, obviously. But I'm just letting y'all know. It's a lot of damn tech firms up in this bitch. You see what I'm saying? Just letting y'all know, man. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I just wanted y'all to see that. So let's keep going.
This Park Avenue comes to an end at the Harlem River. On the other side of the water, there was another Park Avenue.
So Arthur Blank is a small hat. Damn, how did I get that right? Damn.
This is the South Bronx.
Y'all see, y'all gonna come to my channel and you're gonna find out when I say this shit about a white power structure that I know what I'm talking about. There are people at the top and they small hats.
America's poorest congressional district. There are 700,000 people in this district. Almost 40% of them live in poverty, making less than $40. For you, the last 30 years, very people here have seen the wages fall and the cost of almost everything else. They've lost their jobs in recession, lost their neighbors across the river. They've watched their children struggle in failing schools, and they've ended up even worse off than they were a generation ago. But America is still a land of opportunity, isn't it? A place where anyone can make it to the top if they're willing to work hard and set their sights on it. That's what makes this country great.
Hey, Rainy Woo, man, how you doing? What's up, pretty lady?
Isn't that what we tell ourselves? But in today's America, what are the chances someone who starts their life in this Park Avenue will end up living in this Park Avenue?
So what are the chances that you start poor and end up on Park Avenue? I don't know. I don't want to live on Park Avenue. I'm a country boy. I like the country. I like trees and wood and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going. Damn, he got Geico too? Damn.
Let's imagine that you're invited to a game of Monopoly. And you arrive at this game to find out that all of the property's been divided up. All of the money's already been handed out. But you're told, hey, go ahead and sit down, play the game. We're going to give you a chance to play just like everyone else. There are some in society that have a lot of access, a lot of social mobility, a lot of resources. to do the things that they want, as opposed to other people who are more disadvantaged, more underprivileged, don't have the same levels of resources.
Paul Piff is a social psychologist.
Guys, let me explain something to y'all. I don't have the same opportunities as Bill Gates. I don't have the same opportunities as Mark Zuckerberg, right? I don't. I'm not a small hat. I don't think Bill Gates is a small hat. I don't think so. He might be. I don't know. Damn near everybody you see that's powerful is a small hat. Damn near everybody that owns and controls some shit is a small hat. We don't even know it. Anyway, I don't have the opportunity, but I'm pretty damn comfortable. How about you guys? I'm doing all right. I got a comfortable lifestyle, and I can increase my lifestyle with discipline, self-focus, and doing what I have to do.
The University of California, Berkeley, who studies the psychology of wealth and the consequences of inequality in our society. We came upon an experiment he conducted that caught our interest.
Oh wait, I get $200 because I just.
Oh yeah.
Monopoly first became a hit during the Great Depression. It's a game of ruthless dog-eat-dog capitalism. True to the American dream, everyone has an equal opportunity, starting with the same amount of money and the same chance to succeed. Winning is a mix of luck and skill. For his experiment, Piff rigged the game by giving one player a huge advantage.
So there are two players, they don't know each other. You flip a coin to determine your position. So it's random, almost like your emergence into the world is random. Whether you
Now, this is Monopoly. So, I mean, it's just a fucking, okay? Remember that shit.
land in this family or this other family. If you were the rich person, you got a lot more money. You got 2 times as much money. When you pass go, you collect $200. You would get to roll both dice. So you're allowed to move around the board quicker.
How many 500s did you have? Just one. Are you serious? Yeah. I have 3.
Now, if you're on the low end, we really hit you hard. You got half the money. When you passed go, you collected half the salary.
I'm gonna lose pretty soon.
You only got to roll 1 die. So you're moving around the board very, very slowly. The other person's just whizzing around you, collecting $200 every couple of turns.
I'm gonna get another $200 again.
I know.
Now, the reason I disagree with that whole ideology, that's not the way shit works. That's not the way the universe is divided out. A lot of people, what happened, you have opportunities, you have your education, you have a job. Let's say you got a job making $50,000, $45,000, $50,000. Nobody told you to go out and get the type of house you got. Nobody told you to go out and get the type of car you got. Nobody told you to get out and do things that you do. In Monopoly, it kind of forces you to buy shit. So you have to kind of buy shit, or if you just keep going trying to collect gold, you're going to land and have to come up off some money eventually. But that's not the way life works. You don't have to buy. Nobody tells you to buy shit. I've seen plenty of people live on less than they make and become multimillionaires. See what I'm saying? I've seen plenty of people invest in mutual funds. A lot of shit you can do. There's a lot of options you have. Monopoly's not a one-to-one, zero-sum game of pretty much, like the way it basically, well, Monopoly is a zero-sum game, but I'm just saying it's not one-to-one with life. It's not. And that's what he's basically trying to tell you. Because she got to make his point.
A game that's openly rigged, the rich players inevitably exhibit a sense of entitlement. They gobble up more of the carefully placed pretzels. They come to believe that they deserve to win.
I'm gonna buy out this whole board.
And they show.
I mean, what chick wouldn't the girl say, I'm going to buy this whole board? I mean, shit, she's trying to win. That's what she's trying to do.
No concern for the misfortune of the poor players.
You playing a board game. Why the fuck should I care? Ain't like a motherfucker killing you, or you sleeping under the bridge in 5-degree weather with the wind chill at -10. Damn.
Even though the poor players don't stand the slightest chance of winning.
Poor thing.
The idea of the American dream is that everyone's got an equal opportunity. You just got to decide to play. But in fact, there are large groups that experience the game as unfair. The opportunity's not there. All
the opportunity is there. Don't believe that lie.
rules have been decided. The property's already been bought up. And
so, guys, I'm gonna go back and do this shit one more time. How many of these companies were around 40 years ago? 50 years ago. Let's go back 50. Microsoft wasn't around. Apple wasn't around. Amazon wasn't around. Right? What we got? Facebook wasn't around. Shit, Facebook wasn't around, what, 15 years ago? What else? And if it was very fledgling. It's a small company. This one was a fledgling company at the time. You get what I'm saying? Walmart wasn't half of what it was. Walmart wasn't the juggernaut that it became. You see what I'm saying? Don't let people fool you, man. I just want to keep going. Let's keep going.
already in the hands of the other players.
You read that. Let's start the other thing. It's my goal. I'm Michael Jordan. I'm Ray Allen. Almost all families start out with wanting the same things for their children. They want them to be safe. They want them to be happy. And they want them to be successful and healthy. But even before birth, so many kids start that race behind. They come into a neighborhood that's unsafe.
If my child is in an unsafe neighborhood, it's because I made fucked up decisions with my life. If your child has to go to school and worry about getting shot, you fucked up, okay? That's what she's not going to talk about. She's blaming rich people for your stupid fucked up decisions. My son, if we want to move, we can break the lease and get wherever the fuck we want to go. I can go buy a house out in the suburbs. I ain't got to live here. I ain't rich, though. I ain't rich, but shit, I ain't got to live and worry about the shit she talking about. Thank you, Bob Pop.
Overcrowded apartment. They don't have healthy nutrition. They might have medical issues that aren't being addressed. I would say.
See, so you can't go get government program. What is it, Medicare? Can't get that shit.
Their number one challenge is just a lack of opportunities in general.
You got a free education, right? If you put 2 and 3 hours a day in studying, doing your homework, you so fucking stupid that you still won't get a scholarship. See, it's not what they're saying, is what they're not saying. See, that's why I'm gonna say this shit for you.
In parts of the South Bronx, unemployment has reached 19%, and many families struggle just to put food on the table. Pastor Colin Dunkley and his wife April run a food pantry in the South Bronx. It feeds about 200 struggling families every week.
I like helping people. I like serving the people. I like helping the people. If there's something we can do to bless them, that's what we're going to do.
When you typically get the vegetables in a can, beans in a can, bags of rice. Sometimes we get the little sippy Capri Sun juices. We'll put those in the bag for the kids.
But they don't have nearly enough to meet the demand. When we visited, they ran out of food in 15 minutes.
There is no more food at this time. You can come back next Monday at 2 o'clock. That's it, Mommy. That's it. No, sir. I'm sorry. No more.
It is very, very hard to pull yourself out of extreme poverty in the United States. It almost never happens. This run.
That's a lie.
It's completely
People bounce in and out of poverty all the time. That's a lie. That is just a fucking lie.
counter to what people's notion of America has been for a very long time. We think of ourselves as the land of opportunity. Mobility in the United States lags most other advanced industrial democracies.
When I was growing up, the image of America.
Now, all the nations on that little diagram they just put up there to my mobility, all the nations.
Opportunity. Mobility in the United States lags most.
Guess what they did? They went and got all these little European nations and said why. It's a lot of reasons as to why they say mobility in these countries lags in the United States, lags all these other countries. You got another 200 and some countries that are behind the United States now, but you got these little 10 to 12 nations ahead of us: Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, it has a lot to do with size of the nation, population. You know what I'm saying? It's a homogenous society, less population, and then a lot of the motherfuckers stole a lot of shit from poor people in Africa and took their resources. Everybody, I forget which country it is. Everybody in that bitch is a millionaire. I can't forget which country it is. Everybody in the country is a millionaire. I forget which one it is.
Advanced industrial democracies.
When I was growing up, the image of America, the self-image, was of a vast middle-class country. Of course, there was a small rich group, and there were some poor, but America prided itself and understood that its health was because of a vast middle class. We're not that kind of society anymore.
There's always been a gap between the wealthiest in our society and everyone else. But in the last 30 years, something changed. That gap.
Guys, let's do an experiment, shall we? Let's see. Because if you watch this shit will make you depressed. Let's see. So let's see what income, or should I say net worth? How about that? Let's do net worth. Worth makes you a 1%er. There we go. But net worth, what we got? Yeah. Oh, this stress will tell you that it ranks in the 120 million US household. You need just shy of 1.4 million to be in the top 10%, and you need to accumulate $10 million basically to be a 1%er. So you just need a net worth of $10 million. That's what you need. All right. Okay. So let's keep going. I just wanted to look at that. I just want y'all to know. So when they talk about 1%, they talk about somebody with $10 million net worth. You know what that means, guys? That's somebody that has a business that probably may bring in roughly, let's say, about $250,000 a month. That's what their business need to bring in. If they got that type of business on paper, somebody would have to pay them for that. That business would be worth $10 million. Also, somebody that has a net worth of $10 million. Let's see what else we can do. Land. If you own a piece of property in a certain area, and it has speculation, or if you buy it and it's risen. My brother had a property in a certain area, and it rose to like $3 million last he checked a couple of years ago. He could have got that property when it first was built in Irvine, California for $400,000. All right. So let's keep going. I just want y'all to see this stuff. Let's keep the party going.
The Grand Canyon.
The incomes of people at the lower end stagnated. And disproportionate amount of the growth in the economy.
Wait a minute, they talking about income. Oh shit, let me go back. Let's do income then. Since they did income and they think that's what they talking about. Let's see what income makes you a 1% top 1% earner. Top 1% earner. And y'all, I'm gonna show y'all the screen so y'all won't see I'm lying. All right. Let's do that. So let's share screen again. I'm gonna make sure we all on. Look at that. You just a top 1% earner with $420,000. You're like, well, damn, man, that's a lot of money. That's a doctor, man. Shit. That's a doctor. That's a doctor, guys. That's a top 1% earner, a doctor. So just remember that shit now when we start talking about the 1%. All right. So and what we're listening to is, I'm gonna put the name of it right here. This is the name. I'm gonna copy it. And when you get finished with me, you can go over there and watch it when class is over. Let's keep going.
Accrued to those at the upper end.
This is what America's economic pie looked like in the decades after World War II.
Now, economic distribution, I'm gonna go into that in a minute.
Income gains were shared by everyone, with big portions going to average Americans. But since the late 1970s, the bottom 90% have seen their share of the pie completely devoured by the top 1%.
Because the top 1%'s incomes have shot and skyrocketed, because anybody that has cash in a down market can become supremely wealthy. If the market crashed right now and you have $2-3 million liquid cash in the bank, and all the houses right now are going at 25 cents, 30 cents on the dollar like they were in 2008, 2009 in Atlanta, and you came and bought all this shit up. Right now, your shit would be worth, let's say you spent $1 million on buying like 6 houses in Atlanta, right? You spend $1 million. That shit worth $7-8 million right now. Just remember that.
Getting an enormous percentage of all of the gains in the entire economy. When I talk about the wealthy, I'm talking about like in the thousands of people.
Thousands might be overstating it. As in 2010, only 400 of the richest Americans controlled more wealth than the bottom half of American households. That's 150 million people. The question is,
so my thing is, if you watch this, you'll be like, oh shit, damn, that's unfair. Well, this is what intergenerational wealth does. 400 richest people. A lot of those people are first generation. A lot of those people are old wealth, old money. But the overwhelming majority, 95% of millionaires are first generation.
what are the people at the top going to do?
No, I'm not attempting. Here comes Son Isaac with that bullshit, boy. Son Isaac, no, brother. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not trying to characterize the 1% as the average black person. What I'm saying is, I don't think you need to be more so concerned. What's up, Mr. Jones? I don't think you need to be more so worried about wealth inequality. Because, first of all, brother, I don't know what you do, but if you have any wealth, you got any money in the bank, you got any net worth, it's probably something that you earned. It's some shit that you did. You got your education. You did the right things. You didn't have 5 and 6 kids out of wedlock. You didn't fuck around and drop out of school and do some dumb shit. You didn't go sell drugs and get a case and get your life fucked up. Not that everybody that sold drugs ever is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying some people have a harder life when they do that. You haven't done all the bad things that make life harder on you. So therefore, you are rewarded by having a higher net worth, higher income, higher quality of life than somebody that made bad choices. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm talking about. The universe, everybody doesn't have the same effort, just like everybody doesn't have the same. I'm not LeBron James. I played basketball. I'm not LeBron James, man. I ain't 6'8". You know what I'm saying? I'm not Kobe. I'm not Jordan. I'm me. You know what I'm saying? I did the best I could, but I wasn't good enough to make it to the NBA. It is what it is. Now, there's a distribution of basketball talent in the NBA. Everybody in the NBA damn near has talent. Damn near, there are more people that have more talent than Kobe, more talent than Michael Jordan. Like a good example was Corey Maggette. That's a guy who guys don't even know who the fuck he is. A lot of people don't. Played from Duke University. That brother was a monster in college. That brother had talent that everybody talked about. Jerry Stackhouse, supreme talent. I'm gonna tell you another brother that didn't really have a big work ethic like people think he did. Tracy McGrady. T-Mac was naturally out the womb better than shit. Than damn every player that ever played. He probably the most talented player that ever played in the NBA. I know y'all like, you crazy, man. No. If you really do some research on Tracy McGrady, you will know Tracy McGrady didn't work on his game. All he did was play pickup. And he was able to go neck and neck with Kobe in his prime, who bust his ass, who worked extremely hard. And just think about that shit for a second. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, you can say he never made his teams better, but that's what I'm saying. He's just natural ability. This dude was a born basketball player. But a born soldier. T-Mac was. And he didn't work hard. He didn't work as hard as Kobe. If he worked as hard as Kobe, T-Mac would have been head and shoulders the best player probably ever played the fucking game. So was Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, everybody think he's just big and muscular. And you remember him in the LA days. Guys, I'm talking about the Orlando Magic Shaq. That was a guard that could post up. That's what he was. He was a guard. He could run point. You wasn't going to rip him. He had a fadeaway. Shaq could ball when he was young, when he had just got to Orlando, when him and Penny was on the team. Shaq was a monster in the game. Guess what? Didn't have a work ethic. And the point I'm trying to make is when it comes to life, the distribution, am I saying that the top 1% outworks everybody? No. No, that's not it. But I'm just showing you that the top companies, I'm going to tell you something. I think Mark Zuckerberg is a top 1%er. Well, in 2003, he wasn't a 1%er. Now, of course, he's a small hat. So, I mean, you can kind of throw some Well, he had the resources to get there. Okay, fine. But the point I'm trying to make about Mark Zuckerberg is he wasn't a 1%. Jeff Bezos wasn't a 1%. Steve Jobs wasn't a 1%. If you go and look at the stories and do the research of these people, what did they do? What did all those people do I just named? They came to the marketplace with a product that served the masses. That's what they did. That's what they did. Those guys came to the market and Bill Gates has his product in damn near everybody's house in this fucking country. That's why he has the #1 rank on market capitalization in America. Apple has his product. Steve Jobs has a product in damn near every house in this country. That's why he's #2. Amazon, need I say more? That's installed on everybody's phone. Amazon ride by my house 4-5 times a day with these big ass blue vans dropping shit off. We get damn near 3-4 packages a week from Amazon. We don't even think twice about that shit, right? Do I need to talk about Facebook? Shit, how many times y'all have been on Facebook today? See what I'm saying? So guys, let's look at it for what it is. They tell us about wealth inequality, but a lot of this shit isn't what they say it is. Let's keep going.
There is a little tiny group, and it's probably 1% of the 1%. Those people are concentrated in a very small number of places. New York has been one of those places since the early 19th century. It has been a world city with world-class fortunes, and it has been a magnet for people who live in the 1% of the 1%. I was in a taxi going down Fifth Avenue looking for the richest apartment building in New York. There were about 10 buildings that were on the initial list. 740 Park became the epicenter of the people who ruled the world, truly the masters of the universe. They all live in 740 Park.
I can't argue with him right there. And I bet you all of them are hedge fund managers that are small hats. They gonna drill down on one in particular, and that's the Koch brothers. But let's keep going.
It was known before my book as the Rockefeller Building, but in fact, Rockefeller was not one of the original people in the building. It was built by Jackie Kennedy's grandfather, James T. Lee, in a consortium with a group of the people who were considered to be responsible for the market crash of 19...
So Jacqueline Kennedy came from money. Jacqueline Onassis, which was a mobster. I think she was married to a mobster, the president. That's who that is.
And the depression that followed. And then it became kind of the Standard Oil building. It was a building where lots of Standard Oil executives and...
I ain't gonna lie, y'all gonna hate me for this. I actually got mad respect for John Rockefeller. I do. Not that I like the shit they did. They did a lot of evil, sinister shit. But what I'm saying is, you gotta respect a man that can climb out. Like, as much as we talk shit, I have to admire excellence. Period. I don't give a fuck where it is. I can't stand LeBron. I don't see excellence in LeBron. I see free agency. I didn't like Kobe, but I started liking Kobe because, goddamn, 81 points. The dude just, shit. He wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the strongest. It's just sheer will, desire. I'm gonna out earn you. I'm gonna outthink you. I love shit like that. That shit make my blood rush through my veins. I really love it.
All lived. It was truly considered the holy grail for a certain kind of wealthy New Yorker. Now the largest category in 740 Park are hedge fund guys, and they're the people with the most.
See that? Listen to what he say.
Money now. They're the equivalent of the oil people from the 30s.
Hedge fund. Keep going.
These guys,
Wall Street. Y'all know who that is now. That's the small hats.
Ruled the world. They are multi-billionaires of, the CEOs of the major corporations in the world.
A lot of these people ain't even on your Forbes list. Don't go looking for them. A lot of them don't want to be on that bitch. I'm telling you, you think that Forbes list is accurate, you're a fool.
This doorman once worked at 740 Park Avenue. He agreed to be interviewed under the condition that we hide his face and alter his voice.
To work at 740, you really need to know somebody within the business. You know, you're working at the top building in the world. It's only 3 units. It's not a lot of residents, but they're high-tempered, and, you know, you have to have a thick skin to work there. You're going to be dealing with detestable people, and you're going to be dealing with billionaires. You need to know everything about the residents. What time they wake up to go down to Wall Street, whose car is which, who likes to get their own door, who gets in the passenger seat, who gets in the back seat. You know, these things don't seem like a big thing to me and you, but even a minor mishap, you know, you'll be fired straight away.
I've been around rich white folks. He ain't lying.
What are some of the key tenants in the building now?
You've got John Thain, the CEO who presided over the downfall of Merrill Lynch. Ezra Merkin, who was the feeder
These are the people that raped everybody in 2008.
to Bernie Madoff. David Koch, who is the richest
They're going to go in on the Koch brothers hard.
person in the building. Of course, Steve Schwartzman, the poster child of capitalistic greed in the last 10 years.
Billionaire Steven Schwartzman, one of the
Schwartzman. Schwartzman. What type of name is Schwartzman?
kings of private equity since 740 Park.
Y'all think I just be making this shit up? I ain't even pay attention. Like, I'm so they everywhere. I'm trying to tell y'all.
Extravagant apartment. Schwartzman was a managing director at Lehman Brothers before co-founding the Blackstone Group. He is one of the most prominent CEOs when it comes to lobbying for tax policies that favor the ultra-rich.
He was
Now pay attention to this. Now, this is Machiavellian principles at its finest. Listen to this.
was a strange guy, Mr. Schwartzman.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the 66th annual Alfred E. Smith Memorial Foundation dinner. We call it Occupy Waldorf.
Out of the public eye, but then these little spurts where he'd have his 60th birthday party. He had Rod Stewart play, and it was all over the papers, and he had a replica of his apartment built in this hotel, and it was just completely ridiculous. He'd have his annual Christmas party, and he'd have 25 Christmas trees come in, these massive Christmas trees.
25 Christmas trees?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't get mad about motherfuckers spending money. I mean, shit, that's what he's supposed to do. Shit is his.
room would get a Christmas tree and be fully decorated.
Steve Schwartzman lives in the apartment that had previously been owned by John D. Rockefeller Jr. It's a sprawling apartment. It's 37 rooms. Lavish beyond your wildest imagining, 20,000 square feet.
Schwartzman paid just under $30 million for this apartment. Pocket change for a Wall Street tycoon worth over $5 billion. If a few people, do really well, why is that such a big deal? Isn't that just proof of the American dream? You work hard and you're successful.
We as a society have very complex views about economic inequality. Americans are not of the view that all inequalities of wealth or income are unjust. And in fact, they think if you work harder, if you seize opportunities, then you should be able to get ahead.
Jacob Hacker is a political scientist at Yale and the co-author.
I mean, do I need to listen to a motherfucker from Yale?
Of winner-take-all politics, which argues that this extraordinary accumulation of wealth at the top isn't just about hard work. It's about wealthy interests using the political system to rig the rules in their favor.
There's been a reinforcing a cycle. Those at the top have done well. They've invested in policies that are favorable to them, and they've done even better. And then they've turned a lot of that money back into politics.
Guys, let me explain something to y'all, man. This is I gotta say this, right? I'm not gonna finish this whole thing. I'm gonna keep going for a little bit more. I want to say, guys, rich people go to Washington and they pay lobbyists to get them what the fuck they want. This is how shit works. This is what did Dr. Claude Anderson wasn't just pulling that stuff out his behind. He knew what he was talking about. He said, vote for what? Politics is ran by money. Didn't he say that? Now think about that when I play this. Because I hate to hear people say money ain't gonna do this, money ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna say no names. But I've seen YouTubers say that shit, and I've been on a hangout with a person that said that shit. I just ain't want to engage their ass because I already know they get emotional. They not logical. They don't think shit through. I know how to think. Listen to this.
To understand how big money rigs the rules in Washington, we sought out the poster child for political corruption, former lobbyist Jack Abramoff. Having pled guilty to charges including
Abramoff.
conspiracy to bribe public officials, Abramoff spent nearly 4 years in federal prison. Now released, he's touring the country trying to promote reform.
I wish I could tell you that in the midst of all of my lobbying activity, I came to an epiphany, but I didn't. It, unfortunately for me, required my demise.
Jack Abramoff has pled guilty to federal corruption charges.
But eventually I decided to look honestly at the past activities I engaged in.
How a lobbyist stacked the deck. He was a lobbyist, y'all.
So systemically looked at the overall picture and realized the system itself is really badly in disrepair. The lobbyists will bring in the exact draft of what they want because they want to make sure it is.
So the lobbyists write the damn rules. They make the shit for their boss. Lobbyists are paid by private interest groups to go to Washington. They already done wrote the damn bill. They just give it to the damn senator. Man, here you go. And that's how that shit work. Look, man, when you run for office, we're gonna drop a couple of $1 million in your campaign, in your war chest for you to go back and run for office. All right, man. That's it. They dap each other up. All right, brother. They gone. That's how that shit work.
What they need. And the staff are busy, the congressmen are busy, and so they frequently in the past and still avail themselves of the services, let's call them, of the lobbyists to write these bills.
So the bills are written by lobbyists.
Now, as a
guys, do you know what that means? That means the businessmen are writing their own fucking bills. Don't nobody ever come on my channel and argue with me about how politics is ran. I ain't gonna say no names. Some of those Yvette and Tone people. I ain't gonna say no names. You think you finna walk your ass in there and talk about I want my check with people that got this type of interest? It's a certain way. It's rules to this shit. Now I bet you like, well, shit, man. If that's the case, why even go and try to get money? Because we can't get as much money as they get. Well, see, this is why you don't understand politics if you think like that, because that's not how shit works. It's like the Serengeti, right? A lioness, for example. A lioness has a nemesis that is the hyena. A hyena by himself will get fucked up, right? You get by 6 or 7 of them hyenas and one lioness, the lioness will get fucked up. Even though the lioness or the lion is usually more, they scared of them by themselves. The way this shit works is everybody in Washington, their interests may not always align. And so you have this ebb and flow and there are wars and political games that are played. It's not just all set up like you ain't in the clique so you can't get in. No, in order for you to buy a seat at the table like Jeff Bezos has done, Jeff Bezos has went and set some shit. He bought a house in Washington, D.C. He bought up the Washington Post. Like, this shit is rules to this shit, man. And he going at Trump. He don't like Trump. Trump and they don't like each other. So they write a lot of bad shit about Trump. You telling me Trump ain't got no power in Washington? The shit works. If shit goes your way, you go to the person's enemy and you align yourself with that enemy because at that time you guys have common interests. That's how it works, guys.
What's your leverage in terms of getting members to sponsor the bills that you had written?
Well, lobbyist needs to get to the decision maker, the congressman and the staff, and that involves, unfortunately, financial conveyances.
Basically, man, I mean, they bribe. Duh. I mean, they bribe the damn politicians.
One of the dirty little secrets in Washington today is how much time members of the House and Senate spend every week, not just in the election season, but all the time, year-round, on the telephone, asking people for money. It's begging for money. It's a sad spectacle.
When you have campaigns that are costing tens of millions of dollars, the people who have the money want something back. Money is being used to buy results. That is the problem. That's how I use money.
Now listen. Now take that and think about that dumb shit. What's his face is talking about with that shirt? I saw him. Roland Martin talking about Black Votes Matter. This shit shit funny. Black votes matter. Not against this shit they talking about right here. Not like you can I don't care what the fuck you want. You could put your guy in. I'm gonna walk right up in his office. Hey, how you doing? My name is so and so, so and so. I work for this. I'm a lobbyist from so and so, so and so. Look, I want so and so. Well, that go. I don't believe in that. People put me here to da 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 da. Okay, well, look, if you don't do what I want you to do, I'm gonna go in the primary and I'm gonna pay this guy. We got a guy we already looking at. He's gonna run against you. We're gonna drop $10 million in his war chest to defeat you in the primary, and you will be out. You're gonna think twice about that shit. You like, damn. And then you're gonna cave. You're gonna give, look, man, I mean, you know, I can give you something, man. I mean, you know, how does it work, man? You know what I'm saying? That's how that shit work. I'm telling you, right? I got a homeboy that work at the damn corrections facility, right? Let me tell you how niggas get raped in prison. I'm gonna explain this shit to y'all. He say, all right, so these niggas run game on these niggas. What they'll do, they'll have somebody come and press the nigga. Nigga be trying to jump on him, pressing, and especially if you ain't built like that. They gonna press you. They gonna come at you. They gonna fuck with you. And if you ain't built mentally for that shit, because a lot of niggas get in prison scared than a motherfucker, right? The nigga that's sleeping in your bunk with you, he'll game your ass. Man, I know that nigga, man. I mean, I get that nigga off you, man. But you know, you see what I'm saying? That's how that shit work. It's the same thing. It's power. That's how the shit work. I'm telling you. And I never forget, he told me, he said, man, it was this white dude was in there and they was pressing his ass. And the dude, he said, man, I ain't think he was like that, man. He said, man, the dude kept fucking with him. They kept whooping his ass. This white dude kept getting his ass whooped every day. They was beating his ass. And so he said, man, they would try to get there to stop it. He said, man, the dude told him, said, man, look, man, you got to do something. Dude said, no, man. So one day he just went up there to the damn door. They went in the door, put something over the door, and motherfuckers in there doing whatever the fuck he had to do. And they left him alone. That's how that shit go. I know it sounds fucked up, don't it? Because that's a place I would never want to go. But I'm just telling you, this is how shit works. And in Washington, power is the same, except in prison, we understand that shit a little different. That's how this shit work in Washington, man. That's how it work. Not along them lines, but when a nigga want to make you sacrifice your value system and compromise, all they got to do is press you. With money, they either give you money straight out, or they say, all right, nigga, all right, I'm gonna let old boy jump on you. In other words, I'm gonna let this person run against you and run your ass out of office. That's how it worked. And guess what? That shit worked.
What I was doing. Washington is almost owned and operated by the U.S. corporate sector at this point. There are so many billions of dollars of spending on lobbying. There are so many lobbyists that are in.
Guys, let me tell you who run Washington. Who runs the Democrats? Tech. Big tech. Tech right now runs the Democrat Party. The military-industrial complex runs the Republican Party. Watch what I'm telling you now. That's why the Democrats are so liberal, because that shit based in San Francisco. See what I'm saying? That's why all Democrats are all super hype about gay rights and shit like that. God, this shit ain't just some shit we just making up. They just making that shit up. The gays are so powerful right now because of this shit right here. Because tech is behind it.
The regs, writing the laws right now. There is so much financing of political campaigns. There are so many bought politicians.
Our civics books tell us that the president is the most powerful person in the world, and that special interests must go to Washington to petition the government. But when it comes time to raise money, our presidents go hat in hand to the people who really have the power. In 2007, President George W. Bush made a pilgrimage to Steve Schwartzman's apartment to ask for money for the Republicans.
See, they only gonna talk about the Republicans. See, I call them back. They only gonna talk about the Republicans. I know how this shit works.
Committee.
The Secret Service were coming for, I would say, 3 to 4 months before the actual visit. And they would come every week just to check up, look around the building. They did background checks on us for sure. They had the sharpshooters out. They brought Mr. Bush to Mr. Schwartzman's apartment. He spent maybe 15 minutes out, and that's it.
He did a fundraiser with Mr. Schwartz and got 1.2 million.
Why did John Dillinger rob banks? That's where the money is. Well, 740 Park is where the money is. And in this day and age, any candidate who didn't go to 740 Park would probably be foolish.
I'm Mitt Romney. I believe in America.
Now, they done skipped all over Obama ass. They have not shown Obama. Now they talking about Romney.
And I'm running for president.
So you think Barack Obama got his pillow biting ass and they ain't ever fuck with these people? Come on, man. Everybody know Wall Street bought his ass. Tell him what he did.
Romney has a private meeting on Park Avenue with the prominent CEOs eager for change in Washington.
Mitt Romney went to kiss Mr. Schwartzman's ring and meet some of his friends and no doubt collect a few checks.
What makes him good for the country?
Mitt, he's a natural leader, and he's accessible. He listens.
Mitt Romney was a Wall Street guy, but so is a Barack Obama. Do not let them fool you guys. They always talk about Wall Street and say that shit. We've been hearing them, but the small hats the whole time, guys. That's a small hat talking right now.
And what are you telling him about what needs to be done?
We had a nice meeting about 3 weeks ago for an hour, and what I tell him stays with me.
Y'all heard that, didn't you?
I'm not shy.
They can influence the writing of laws, the implementation of regulation, the degree to which the tax code tilts towards business.
Why you think the tax code is big as a damn phone book, damn near 4 feet tall? Huh? Why? Because there's all types of loopholes in that shit. That's why they don't like the flat tax. That's why they didn't give you Ron Paul. Y'all better see this shit. That's why they sabotaged Ron Paul, Rupert Murdoch, Fox News. They didn't like him. He was an establishment.
Top versus ordinary working Americans.
A perfect example of the influence that a small group of billionaires
Here we go.
have on the government is something in the tax code called the carried interest provision. It allows hedge fund and private equity managers like Steve Schwartzman to pay a 15% tax rate on their income, even though, unlike normal capital gains, they're not required to risk their own money.
When it's explained to people, they think it's crazy. The most highly paid financial executives get taxed at a rate lower than your mom and pop grocery. It is in the tax code because of the incredibly effective lobbying.
That's why they're fearful. That's why they're fearless, man. They don't give a shit. They'll send a guy like Barack Obama out there. You need to pay your fair share. You didn't build that. We're going to bankrupt coal. That they don't give a shit. Wall Street is safe. He ain't going to ever do nothing to Wall Street. Ever.
Industry.
Okay, it was a question about carried interest being taxed at a lower rate. We sort of look at this as sort of an issue that's now in the political world, and it will be solved in that world. We don't have much of a say in that.
Schwartzman went to Capitol Hill yesterday and stood outside the Senate chamber lobbying senators. Schwartzman was there to fight against higher taxes on so-called carried interest.
Nobody in this circle, Herbert Scott, is going to get to the presidency without being part of you in the clique. Ain't nobody getting in that White House. Trump is probably the furthest thing, the closest thing to an outsider you going to see. And he ain't no outsider either. He been down.
2006 on, every Democratic leader and president, in the case of President Obama, has said, we're going to get rid of this.
Let's ask hedge fund managers to stop paying taxes that are lower.
Here we go. Here we go. Now watch this shit.
Than their secretaries.
And then magically it manages to survive. Before you know it, the congressional session has ended, and oh my God, we ran out of time. We didn't get to
It appears the Democrats have completed their takeover of Capitol Hill.
Even when the Democrats controlled both houses of Congress, they couldn't close the carried interest loophole.
They never will.
The question is why.
It passed the House twice, but in the Senate, the hedge funds had a pal in Charles Schumer of New York, the senator from Wall Street, as he was known for many years.
Charles Schumer is one of the most powerful senators in the country.
Small hat.
And has raised more campaign money from the financial industry.
Them his brothers, them his cousins, man.
Any Democrat currently serving in Congress.
Schumer became famous for his ability to gain Wall Street dollars. That's why he was elevated.
Because them his people.
Leadership is because he
was that's like if I get on and I put my homeboy on, he from Montgomery. Me and him grew up playing ball together and shit like that.
I put him over the damn whatever. And they come at me like, hey man, they talking about this, man. What you gonna do? All right, man, do this and run an interference, man. And then I go bribe some people in the background. That's how that shit work.
Fundraiser.
Schumer in that period was the chairman of the Senate Democratic Campaign Committee, which you got to give the guy credit. He turned this into an absolute money machine.
Schumer helped the Democratic Party raise record amounts from Wall Street. And in June 2007, as the Senate was considering legislation to close the carried interest loophole, Schumer went on a fundraising frenzy. In that 1 month, he raised more than $1 million from hedge funds and private equity firms like Blackstone. The carried interest bill never saw the light of day.
Schumer just buried the idea. It never came up for a vote in a committee or on the floor of the Senate. It just disappeared.
And that, I think, is a perfect example of the way in which money talks in American politics today.
And nobody's money talks louder than David Koch's.
See that? Here they go with the Koch brothers.
This right-wing oil tycoon with a fortune of $5 billion is the richest resident of 740 Park Avenue. David and his brother Charles run Koch Industries, one of the largest privately owned companies in the world. They make things like Dixie cups, brawny paper towels, Lycra, and Stainmaster carpet. But their most profitable business is oil and gas, which helps Koch Industries bring in over $100 billion in annual revenues. Together, the Koch brothers may have spent more money to influence American politics than anyone else in the country.
They basically are unprecedented. They influence American politics on a completely different dimension than anybody else. The minute you walked in.
See, so now they finna talk about how they are pretty much, it's the right wing is controlled by special interests. Anybody, now I don't support certain aspects of the Republican Party, but that's what they, and this thing is made by liberals, so you got to kind of see through the bullshit.
I could see you were a man of distinction, a real big spender.
Millions of dollars for Republican politicians. More than $50 million, for example, to lobby in Washington since 2006.
Good looking, so refined. Say, would you like to know what's going on in my mind?
As much as $200 million of their own money this year to help defeat President Obama.
A big spender. Spend a little time with me.
Now the Koch brothers, now it's a bunch of hedge fund managers in New York that buy out a lot of Democrats. But they talking about the Koch brothers and they showing, okay, how many of the Republicans they support. They support mostly conservative, they will say conservative, mostly Republicans. They do. That's why you got a lot, the Republican Party, that's why I'm not a Republican. Because the Republican Party is, a lot of these guys are rhinos. They don't really hold true to the principles that they say they're supposed to believe in. They don't. That's why I don't rock with them. That's why I'm a conservative and not a Republican.
In 1980, David Koch actually ran for vice president on the Libertarian ticket.
They count on growing sympathy for their party's single goal, freedom from government.
He did abysmally. The Libertarian ticket got 1% of the vote in America in 1980. What they learned from that is they had to figure out another way to get their ideas to become influential.
So the Kochs decided to use their money to advance their agenda. They gave generously to political candidates, but more importantly, they invested heavily in groups that could bring their anti-government ideas into the mainstream. The brothers gave millions to right-wing think tanks, and Charles even founded one, the Libertarian Cato Institute.
Government's too big, and it's getting bigger, and we don't want to encourage bigger government to take the keys to the liquor cabinet away from the alcoholics.
Also wrote out enormous checks to universities to support programs that would promote deregulation and free.
Now, y'all know the universities are overwhelmingly liberal. So it's like this, man. I heard a guy say this. I think I heard a guy say it. It's like if you take a guy, throw him in the lion den, throw him in the Coliseum, and bring out the lions, right? And when you bring the lions out, before you bring them out, bury him to his neck in dirt and sand. Then bring out the lions. And as soon as he reaches up and bites the lions in the balls, you complaining about it. Is it like that? No, I think it's, but I do think that the conservative movement and conservative ideas and principles are overwhelmingly shunned by the small hats. If not, then they wouldn't be giving us this bullshit we see on TV every day.
Their free market ideology, they argue, is just about principle. But there are many, many areas in which their business interests butt into regulations.
Environmental regulations have been especially bad for the Koch's bottom line, and they've been slapped with numerous fines from the Environmental Protection Agency.
We are talking about millions of gallons of crude oil being released into the environment.
In 2000, Koch Industries had to pay a $30 million fine for its role in over 300 oil spills. At the time, it was the largest civil penalty in the EPA's history.
When you make businesses less competitive because they're having to deal with regulations from the Environmental Protection Agency.
Now, this is the thing. This is where do we fall as black? Damn, this thing is loud. Where do we fall as black people in this whole thing? Because there's a part of this that I see where people are going with it. They're going to say, well, see, you sound like a fool because, you know, the special interests have gotten through to you as a conservative and they got you out here making the case for them. No, what's going on? I'm not stupid. This is what's going on. A lot of rich special interest people, our how should I put this? Our desires and needs may line up in certain instances. The Koch brothers line up with certain conservative, like if you're a conservative, because a lot of black brothers on the internet, I'm not the only one. I just talk about this shit. A lot of people say they're conservative. I explain why I'm a conservative. A lot of brothers just say they're conservative and they talk about social issues. I'm a fiscal conservative as well. And I think that when it comes down to certain issues in our society, I think that a lot of these issues will benefit from free market capitalism. I do. I think black people will benefit from embracing capitalism fully, and not embracing socialism like we do. We embrace socialism. Some people say, no, we don't. We embrace capitalism. No, we don't. A lot of us don't. A lot of us have a defeatist mindset when it comes to business, when it comes to a lot of things in life. That's why I put this video out, because we are being influenced by the mindset. Like the people that I could tell this was made by liberals, just by the way they paint. They spending most of the time talking about the Koch brothers. Is it the Koch brothers? So you telling me that tech, Microsoft, they not Jeff Bezos, all that shit he doing in Washington with the White, all that shit going on, and they talking about the Koch brothers. It's a lot of shit that the Silicon Valley tech people are doing to influence politics. This is why right now they have a and I got a guy Louder with Crowder talked about this. This is why they talk about what is it? Google, and they're saying that Google wants to act as though they want to be protected, and they want to act as though they're a utility, and they can shut you off in any way, anytime they want. But then they want to try to benefit and say that they give you freedom of speech. But if you say something they don't like, it's not freedom of speech. They shut your ass down. And they kind of trying to operate and straddle the fence between being free market and allowing people to do what they want. But then they want to get the benefit and the tax benefits of being free market. But then when you say some shit they don't like, they shut your ass down and delete your channel. See what I'm saying? That's what Louder and Crowder was talking about. He made a video about that because he's sitting outside of Google headquarters. He was talking about that same thing. I'm not gonna keep going forever because I got shit to do, but that was something I just wanted to come on here and talk about. Is this whole wealth inequality thing? I think that's one of the biggest rackets that they have going right now, is telling people that you are where you are because somebody took something from you. Not because you didn't get your education, not because you got bad credit because you spend all your fucking money, not because you take your check and do dumb shit with it. No, it's the rich Wall Street bankers. And you ought to be unfair. You ought to go take what they got. You know what I'm saying? And somebody said this earlier, it's the proletariat against the bourgeoisie. And my thing is the proletariat and the bourgeoisie is something that I think we it's something they use as a political football to manipulate us in a certain way. I think that now what I won't do and what I'll be fair. Do I think that they have a point in that they are manipulating the system? Yes, but it's not just the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers are just regular players in the game. They're not the biggest. They not know they playing it like they are. They're not. The Koch brothers ain't a fraction. The motherfuckers that's really running the game, we don't even know who they are. Like, if you really believe that the Koch brothers, anything you see out in the open is just a smoke screen. Anything you see out in the open, Koch is spelled Koch. Anything you see out in the open is not really the real deal, man. When it comes to this shit, man, these motherfuckers is running, they game run deep. They shit run like a sewing machine. It really does. I mean, if we weren't where we were and going through the shit we're going through, I probably would admire it. But I can't, because I see the fuckery and the evil that they commit against our people. You see what I'm saying? Through Hollywood and through entertainment and the shit that they did with Gloria Steinem, small hat. You see what I'm saying? Everywhere you look throughout history, when you talk about E.B. Du Bois, W.E.B. Du Bois manipulating black people when Marcus Garvey was coming out, and how they pretty much, and I know people gonna disagree with me on this because a lot of people like Du Bois and shit, Pan-African and shit like that. I'm gonna be fair. I agree with Umar Johnson. I think he was a hater. I think for him to go to the federal government trying to get cruise ships to take the Black Star Line out speaks volumes. For you to say, what's up, Aaron? For you to say, you know what, I'd rather the white man help me take this nigga out because he's not one of us. He's not a privileged, what's the word? Boule guy. He's not Boule, this, ineloquent guy that's not eloquent. This guy coming from Jamaica. Soon as Booker T. Washington died, I was supposed to be next to heir apparent to the black legacy. And here this guy comes, Marcus Garvey, right? And so what Marcus Garvey does is he pushes the UNIA out, and E.B. Du Bois wasn't with that shit, man. So he was a hater. That's what people don't want to hear, man. And so a lot of the stuff that we've been taught as a people is really from the small hats. If you go back and trace W.E.B. Du Bois, the Niagara movement, these are, you're going to see small hats with their fingerprints all over it. You go back and trace the NAACP, they fingerprints all over that. You go trace the civil rights movement, fingerprints all over that. You go trace, now, although I think the Black Panthers started from a grassroots level, who gave them the Communist Manifesto? Who pushed Angela Davis out in front, in the forefront? Who controlled the media back then? They bought all that shit up around the turn of the century, of the 18 going into the 1900s, going into the 20th century. They controlled all the media. So as soon as she came, that's who they put out in front, Angela Davis. What was she talking? Socialism and capitalism, SNCC. You know what I'm saying? Kwame Ture. I respect Kwame Ture. I'm not saying that everything these people said was wrong. See, that's the beautiful thing about the small hats that you got to understand. A lot of the times what they'll do is they'll come in and win you over. This is their strategy. This is why I think they're the most evil motherfuckers out of all of them. Because what they'll do, they'll like Bernie Sanders, they'll say some shit like Black Lives Matter. They'll win you over emotionally, right? Because they see you're emotional. And they see, okay, he's emotional. I can really use this guy to accomplish my agenda. But first of all, what we can't do, in order to use him as a political football, we have to make them useful idiots. We can never give them what it is that we want. So let's just give them a little something. Let's make it seem like it's for women's liberation. Let's make it seem like it's for this and this for that, right? But meanwhile, we'll put a little hint of what we want in there. Let's give them a fair shot. Let's take Diane Carroll and put her on a show called Julia. And she's a single mom, right? Back when 80% of black families, children were born in wedlock, we're going to put a single mom on television, and we're going to make that the norm for the black community. And then we're going to tell their women that they don't need a man. We're going to have all these shows in the 80s and 90s. We're going to make movies. We're going to push Color Purple to make the black man look like he a piece of shit. We're going to push Waiting to Exhale. We're going to push all these shows, Beloved. We're going to use Oprah. We're going to put black women in there. We're going to cause enmity between the black man and the black woman. We're going to have the, see what I'm saying? But it looks like you're empowering the black community because you're giving black women something, but you're doing it with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? You're doing it to try to destabilize. Because I'm telling you right now, there's no fucking way you can have a black girls rock and not have a black boys rock, black men rock. You see what I'm saying? Obviously, what that does is that puts us in a place where we're constantly at war. You get what I'm saying?
And that's what it is. I think they're the most sinister, crafty people out of all of them. They play chess with our ass. They play chess. They do. See, one of the most sinister things about them, they'll sit there and call out racial discrimination. That's where they fuck us up at it. They'll sit there and tell you, yeah, man, the guy that wrote the book Sundown Towns is a small hat. Man, yeah, man. Racial discrimination, man. They did this and they did this to us too. They did us like that. They did y'all bad, but they didn't do them as bad as they did us in Germany. You see how that shit go? Now, I ain't gonna go there. You understand? I'm gonna have to get Patreon for that one. They didn't do us as bad as they did us in Germany, you know, and then that shit is fake, but they tell you that shit. Next thing you know, they getting what they want because they're an oppressed group just like us now. You need black people. They need us. They need us to be here because without us, they can't, their case doesn't look as good. There was a guy on, I think, CNN that talked about, he was Hispanic. He said, man, how can, he got fired. He was on CNN and he was talking, I think it was he was on a show, on a talk show one day. And that guy said, man, come on, man, it's laughable when I look at a guy who's a Caucasian who, unless he opens his mouth, I don't even know he's a small hat. And he said, man, these people ain't nowhere near a fraction as oppressed as Hispanic people. They need to get. Now, of course, you know, he came and had to apologize literally the next day. But what does that tell you? You know what I'm saying? They don't play that shit. They don't play that shit, man. This is why Charlemagne the God kicked the brother that's from the show Atlanta, who played in Get Out, the brother that tried to escape out of the one that was at the party and at the get together. He jumped out and started talking crazy. That brother right there. This is why he tried to push him in front of the moving train that is the small hats, because he said, you know, you can't talk about homosexuals. You can't talk about the gay movement because they don't play that in Hollywood. And because everybody knows. That's why Charlemagne, when what's the name came up there and did some overtly stupid shit. What's his name? Malik Yoba. When he came up there and he did that event, and everybody in Mama saw that they was just making that shit up as they went, right? The transsexual shit, right? And they was just changing definitions on the fly and all that shit. Nobody said anything. You know why? It's almost like everybody, it's like we can all sit and see that they full of shit, but nobody can say anything. Because if you say something, what happens is that puts you in a place of despair, because now you call them out, you got to deal with the machine. And you just saw how powerful they were. Lakeith Stanfield, thank you. Thank you. I don't want black people in their neighborhoods. You should have watched Brother Nathaniel before he was booted off YouTube. They used blacks as cannon fodder for the communist movement. Yeah, 1940. Guys, black people were very capitalist. We don't even know that. Black in the 40s and 50s, we were very capitalistic. Shout out to Black Patriarch, who they got rid of. That's another one. Black Patriarch went at their ass and they kicked him off. Black Patriarch went and he was very methodical with his shit. Go subscribe to my other channel. I got about 5 or 6 of his videos on my other channel, Sub-Zero3639 Live. Go on that channel and check it out. I got all his videos on there, about 5 or 6 of his videos, and he goes in on Angela Davis. He laid that shit all the way out. Who told you that you were a socialist? Why did you embrace socialism like that? Because you got all these people now preaching that shit today. A lot of people are preaching that shit. That's why a lot of people gonna support Bernie Sanders, because he just like them in their mind. They just ain't gonna admit it. They scared to say it right now because it's not cool. You'll be shamed. Wait till election time come and the polls start closing in and it start looking like it's a tight race. Everybody gonna start talking about, man, we need to put Bernie in there. I'd rather have Bernie than Trump. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, they got rid of Black Patriarch. Black Patriarch is gone. Back. Unless he got Black Patriarch TV, I ain't never heard of that. Let me go check it. I go check that out. But yeah, last I checked, they got rid of him. Do you feel Mexicans and Negro immigrants are oppressed or in the same class as Black Americans? No, nobody's in the same class as Black Americans. Nobody is. Nobody is. I don't see people who voluntarily came to this country as anywhere near oppressed. And also by default, because we're considered the opposite of white people, there's no way in hell they can even remotely say that. Because I think about it, the opposite of white is black. If you are a small hat, if you are in certain cases Hispanic, in certain cases whatever, Latino, whatever, guys, unless you open your mouth, guys, did you know the lady that played Wonder Woman back in the day was Latino? Huh? Did we know that shit? I'm talking about the old Wonder Woman, where the lady used to spin around and shit in that old show, the old live action show they used to have in the 70s. That was a Latino. You see, these people could blend in. They straighten their hair, talk a certain way without their accent. We don't know what the fuck they is. A nigga can't hide. You can't hide a fat ass, a big nose, and kinky hair. Certain things black women and black men can never hide. So we're obviously the opposite. And one of the identifying factors of being an American, one of the rites of passage of becoming an American, is a hatred for black people. This is why people come from Latin America and they walk around and they hate our ass. This is why people in New York, now this is where I think the niggas in New York are tripping. When I go to New York and I'm walking around and I see these Latinos saying nigga every 5 seconds, I ain't used to that shit. I can't get up with that shit, man. I don't see how y'all let them get away with that shit, man. It's supposed to be some shit going down up there. Ain't no way in hell. I was walking, man. I was in New York over by Times Square, and these little 12 to 13-year-old kids was talking. Yeah, man, this nigga, da da da, and this nigga, da da da, and this nigga, man, what the fuck? And I looked at him, man, what the fuck? He looked at me like, yeah, I'm gonna say nigga, like you could tell he didn't give a fuck. That shit, man, man, that's what I'm saying, man. I don't even like shit like that. That shit pissed me off, man. I can't stand. I don't know what the fuck y'all niggas on in New York, but that shit ain't cool, bro. Y'all need to stop them niggas. That shit is not cool. That shit ain't cool at all. Letting them motherfuckers bring their ass over here talking about nigga this, nigga. Bitch, shut. I hate that shit. When I see them do that shit, I get mad than a motherfucker. Let me go, man. I got an interview with a student right quick, man. Y'all have a good one.